What's up, everyone? Richie here. I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be part of a project, a series, whatever you want to call it. Whether you're aware of it, whether you're not, this week we will see the release of Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is the biopic on Springsteen, which really concentrates on the 1982 time frame when he was working on Nebraska and that release, which, if you're not familiar with Nebraska, really are probably some of his best writing, just really dark and coming from a really deep place with the writing. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I think you really enjoy it if you're into Springsteen. So I'm going to try to go through the entire album with you, with some different videos here. I've already got a playlist. You can click on it below where I've got Atlantic City and Highway Patrolman from past videos. But we'll just kind of keep it going with the whole album. That's the plan. Life gets in the way sometimes. But we're going to go over Nebraska for this one. If you're playing along to the album, or if you've tried to, let's put it that way, something sounds very off. The closest I can get to it is that he's not in standard tuning, but he's not down a half step. I was playing around with the tunings not too long ago, and typically we tune to the A string to 440, right? If you had a tuner like I do here, I could actually take it and drop it to like 430, 431. When I dropped it to that and then tuned the guitar that way, it was much closer. So you're a couple clicks south of 440 for technical intents and purposes there, right? So, but it's really just three chords, which is a lot of this whole album. It's A, D, and G. And we're gonna go over it. I'm gonna walk you through it the best I can. I would say it's probably mainly finger picked. I'm not a finger picker, so we're going to just kind of wing our way through this. I mean, we'll go over the changes, which are very, very basic as far as it's really one or two patterns, and then it just keeps repeating. And it's up to you if you want to strum it or pick it. Right? Up to you. I'm going to just give you a roadmap here. My videos have always been just a roadmap to get you started. But let's take a look at this one. Nebraska, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere is coming out, in a couple of days if you're into that. So let's get rolling on this one. Okay, so don't mind the mess that you might see on the floor here. I'm still trying to get my new space kind of up and running here. A lot of potential, but at the same time, I don't want to wait, to do videos when I can, use the space right now. So it's three chords, Nebraska. Again, it's south of standard tuning, but it's not a half step down. So if you typically tune to 440, tune it to about 430, and you'll probably get a lot closer when you hear that A string. But it's an A to the D, right, and the G. That's gonna be it. I'm not gonna try to finger pick this. I'm just gonna kind of play some chords for you, pick the chords, arpeggiate them, and then you can decide what you want to do from there. It comes in on the A, and really every time you play or you're going into a different bar, you want to pick that bass note of those chords. So stand there on the front porch, right? So stand there on the front porch, right? So that progression is we're gonna go from A to D, okay? Repeat it. So you're playing the A, D, and repeat it, A, D. The change is gonna come when you come to that G chord. And the funny thing is, from what I can hear, even though we're playing a G shape, I think he's just picking these middle strings. So it's kind of like, you got this G shape, but you're just kind of picking the strings in between. So technically, you don't even have to fret it, but you want to, so you kind of look cool, right? So first time around to the G. And that G is only going to be played, 2 bars. At least I believe it's, or let's say 2 times around. back to the D, to the A. All right, and honestly, that's about 95% of the song right there. But you have to listen to it. The one thing I noticed about, this song and like even Highway Patrolman off of this album, I feel like the timing and the tempo, Bruce just kind of made his own. There was nothing really super standard about, hey, 4/4 time, and he was just kind of flowing with whatever was coming out. So, so if we play that whole verse pattern, which is really the chorus too, it's hard to distinguish between the two. To that G, back to the D, okay? Now, up to you if you want to pick it. I leave it totally up to you. This is where you kind of get creative. We're going to repeat that. To the G, to the D, all right, that's going to be your first verse. It goes right into the second verse. Keep in mind with this, it's still the same chord progression and pattern, but the picking is going to, when I say picking, just the notes are going to change ever so slightly. And I believe, honestly, you can bar this chord. I believe that there's this note in here, which is what it's the 4th fret, 3rd string. So you're kind of playing this A, but you've got this note in here. To the D, and now we're going to make sure we accent that first string, that F sharp on the 2nd fret on the E string. Whereas the first verse, we really were kind of just picking these middle strings. Now, and I think it kind of alternates throughout the whole song. When you go to that G shape, you're gonna get that bass on it, that 6th string, 3rd fret bass on it. And then if you don't want to pick it all, you just kind of a good time to the G. All right, like I said, 95% of the song is that. The only real change that I seem to remember is there's a harmonica solo. And the harmonica solo is just going to mirror that AD shape. And then it'll go back into like that, I guess, that final verse. Harmonica. It's playing over this. So I believe that it's a shorter solo, I believe, but basically that's your song right there. A lot of Nebraska is, 3-4 chords max. But for this particular one, I think it's just these 3 chords. But you need to listen to it for that timing and tempo. Some of it sounds really odd at times with the changes. That's why you got to listen to it and just kind of get into that groove with how this particular song works. So check it out. Hopefully you liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie, actually, because I think that time frame for Springsteen, again, coming out of '78 with the Darkness tour and going and doing the River and all that, and then everyone expecting something big, and here comes Nebraska. Even some of the Born in the USA songs were from the Nebraska session. So looking forward to it. So that's Nebraska from Nebraska. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next one. Later. I'm Richie. This is Six String Fun. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Let's get into the Springsteen catalog once again. We're going to be looking at Atlantic City off of the Nebraska album. So very acoustic, very appropriate for the acoustic guitar. Great album if you're not familiar with that particular one. Very dark. It just, vocals and acoustic guitar, harmonica, maybe a couple of other things thrown in there occasionally. But really good. Dark. Very dark. So give it a listen if you haven't done so yet. We'll take a look at this. And again, I appreciate everybody supporting the channel. And one of the easiest ways you can support the channel, just if you like this video, hit the like button, share it. Once you do that, other people hopefully will see it, and that continues. And it really that really does help me out in the long run. Another thing you can do, and again, I'm not trying to get on my soapbox here, but real quick before we get into this, and it's for a good cause. I've got some merchandise for sale here, especially this particular shirt. Portions of these proceeds for all the shirts basically are going to Mercy Rescue down in South Carolina, Animal Rescue. That's where we got Kona, and this happens to be the Kona guitar shirt. So it really, I can't believe it actually came out looking like her as good as it did. So that's Kona. That's her playing the guitar. We rescued Kona from down there, and we're just trying to help out as much as we can with the team down there. With these times, everyone can use a little help, right? So let's get into this one. We are going to go into Atlantic City, Bruce Springsteen. Let's go. All right, gang. So real simple, basic chords: E minor, G, D, and a C. Those are mainly the chords that are in this tune. And everything comes in right on the verse. Will they? So when they blew up the Chicken Man, it's going to be E minor to the G, to the C, to the G. All right, and then we're going to go E minor, G, and we're going to hold that C for 2 measures. Will they blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night? Now they Chicken Man was out in Philly. I don't know all the details, but mob-related sort of thing out in Philadelphia. So that's who the Chicken Man was, if you're wondering. Don't ask me how I know that, but I know that. So I think that's right. I could be wrong though, but I thought that's how the back in the late 70s, early 80s. So again, E minor to the G, to the C, to the G. You're going to play that pattern for the first verse. It's 3 times. The 4th time around, we're going to continue. We're going to start like we did. E minor to the G, to the C, to the G, and the gambling commission's hanging on to the D by the skin of its teeth. That's kind of your turnaround to get into the chorus. Well, now everything dies, baby, that's a fact. So E minor, G, C, G. And you see I'm playing the G like this because I got this finger ready to go for suspended notes. So 3, 2, open, 1. And then I play the C, and sometimes I keep the pinky on that first string there. Well, now everything dies, baby, that's a fact. Baby, everything that dies, someday comes. So I sometimes hear a D in that last part of the chorus. You can go either. You can just keep it. That repeats. And meet me tonight in Atlantic City. All right, and then the break. There's a kind of like a little break between the next that and the next verse. And I'm just changing the strumming pattern just to kind of give it some dynamics. So that break you're going to play 2 times. We go back into the verse. The difference being here is I think the second verse is a little bit shorter than the first verse, as are the other verses that are coming up. So I think the first verse is longer than all of them. Okay, and we're going to go into the chorus all over again. Second chorus, we come out of that. And we're going into a harmonica. I think it's a harmonica solo. There's something going on there. And there's kind of like the howling going on that Bruce has, that howling type of voice. So it's going to be... So, those are the chords for that, and that's going to go into the bridge. So a little bit different here now. We're going to go, what look may have done in our E minor. So C and our E minor. But with you forever else. Right? So we're going to start off on a C to the E minor, to the C, to the D, to the E minor. Repeat. Going out where the sands turn to gold. And then from here we're going to alternate between C, G, C, G. All right, we're going to just repeat that several times. I think it's 4 or 5 times. And then when you come back to that C, what I do is I'm going to a C add 9. And I'm leaving the first string open. And I'm arpeggiating the note. Just kind of my fingers didn't know what to do there for a second, but yeah, E minor. So it comes back out of that C add, and then it comes back into. And it just sort of repeats now at that point. All right, it kind of repeats over and over, but that's the structure basically of the song. And again, make it your own. Don't do it note for note. Make it, do something that makes it, yours in a way. So have fun with it. See you on the next video, folks. Thanks very much. What's up, folks? Richie here. Another one from the Nebraska album. And by the time this video is posted, you should have the entire Nebraska album. Fingers crossed. So there's a playlist. Check it out. See if it's something you have an interest in. But we're going to take a look at Mansion on the Hill. This was a song that got a lot of love during the reunion tour in 99-2000. So we're going to take a look at this one, obviously off the Nebraska album. I think it's track number 3 off the album. But it's 3 chords, D, G, and A. Okay? I do not have a D harmonica, otherwise I would just try to play along with it. But if you have one, that's what you probably would need, I'm assuming. And it's just really some basic strumming. Not even strumming, just picking. I'm tuned to standard tuning, but if you've seen my videos and if you listen to Nebraska, it's not quite in tune, basically. Different reasons. So even though I'm in tune, if you're playing along to the album, it's going to sound out of tune. So we're going to kind of just go with the standard D, G, and A. And I'm doing my best to keep this guitar in tune because the weather's been crazy with my studio. Just a couple of exterior walls, and it's I'm in South Carolina, but it's cold enough where it's flurrying right now, and it was like 70 degrees yesterday. So the weather's been like up and down. So we'll go through this. I'm going to show you just a picking pattern that I do on this, basically, and that chord is not part of it. That was a C. It should have been a G. But we'll take a look at it. All right, here we go. Mansion on the Hill, Springsteen, Nebraska. Let's go. All right, Nebraska. I should say off the Nebraska album, Mansion on the Hill. 3 chords. Can you hear that? That's the wind out there. I don't know if you can hear that from this mic I got. D, G, and A. Listen for the changes. It comes in on a D. It switches back and forth from the G to the G to the D to the G to the D to the G, I think. And then the A is kind of like your turnaround. So it comes in on that D, but it's also going to have that harmonica. This is one of the songs on Nebraska where there's a lot of harmonica, at least more so than other songs, I think. But it's the picking pattern. What I do is I'm just taking these chords. And there's no exact way of doing this, but So really, you're making sure you're hitting that root note, right? D, G, D, and then when it goes to change, A. So without trying to actually sing the song, hear it? That's almost the entire song right there. It's all the verses are pretty much the same. There's really no chorus, but then you've got a couple spots where there's a harmonica solo, and it's really just kind of the same thing. That it might cut off a little bit sooner, but listen for it. Again, the songs on Nebraska, just kind of, you're making this your own. There's a place down, edge of town, so, right? Rising above the factories and fields, right? And it just continues to the A. Really, that A is when you kind of, you're going to the, well, let's try it. So really, Mansion on the Hill, when that's being said, you should be in that A shape. And my picking pattern is varying. I'm getting the high E on all of this, but only on the second time around for each chord. Here, I'm kind of catching that E string as I come around on that second, kind of my second pass through. 1. Listen to the tune. Again, if you're in standard tuning, it will sound off and you're thinking this is wrong, but it's just the way the whole mix down happened with this demo, basically, okay? So those are your chords, D, G, A. Just like all the other songs on Nebraska, 3 chords, typically. But that's it. So take this, hopefully it helps you out. And maybe the reason you couldn't figure out the song in the past because it sounded so off, it's because I'm sure the guitar had something to do with it, but it's also the fact that when it was mixed down from the 4-track demo to a 2-track cassette, what the radio, basically the box they mixed it to, the speed was off ever so slightly. If you listen to Hungry Heart, right, I think they sped up that on purpose, by about 5% to make it sound like Bruce got a little bit of a higher voice. This was not probably meant to do that, but it's just off ever so slightly where you can't find that perfect pitch in a way. All right, Mansion on the Hill, pretty straightforward. Hopefully it helped you out. Again, I have the whole playlist out there. Well, by the time this is posted, there's an entire playlist of all Nebraska, all 10 songs. So I hope it helps you out. Again, any requests, let me know. No one usually requests anything. So if you have a request, there's a good chance I'll get to it. So I'll see you. Thank you again, everyone. Talk to you soon. What's up, gang? Richie here. Still on Nebraska. We're going through the whole album, hopefully sooner rather than later. I've got a playlist, whether it's up here or it's in the description, one or the other, or all of them, to the songs thus far for Nebraska, and eventually you should have all of them. So I know right now that's in there is Nebraska, Highway Patrolman, Atlantic City, missing a couple of other ones here. I don't know. They're in there. Just did a cut for Reason to Believe, and now we're doing Johnny 99. This one kind of, I don't say gave me problems, but I had a problem wrapping my head around a few things here, because it's in B. And an F sharp, and I guess an E. Is it an E? Yes. Or I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway. And I always felt like it was bar chords, but it didn't seem right. And then it dawned on me recently, last year or two, whenever it might have been, Bruce was on Howard, and it came up about bar chords, and he said he's never played bar chords. And I don't know, because he couldn't, he didn't want to, he never did. So hearing that, I'm going to assume the capo was on 2 for that B note, or that B chord. Even though it's an A shape, it's the tonal center is B. And then an E shape, which will give you the F sharp. And then, I guess it's a D, right? Excuse me, E. So, and it's just those 3 chords. Listen to the song. And if you know the song, you already know the changes. The question is, how do you want to play those chords? Different ways you can do it. You can just... Those are the 3 chords for the most part. I don't think there's anything else in there. And if you strip it down to its simplest forms, that's what it's going to be. But let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you the chords. I'm going to show you some of the changes. I'm not going to walk you through the entire song, because you'll be able to hear these changes. There's one little we'll get into. Pretty straightforward, but you have to use the bar chord for that. And we'll get into this. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Johnny 99, Bruce Springsteen. Here we go. All right, so a little bit of a closer look here. A bar chord, E chord. I use the open chord. I guess I go with the full E. And then a D shape. Again, calling these chords out in relation to the capo being the nut. So it's an A shape, an E shape, a D shape. In reality, this is a B chord, this is an F sharp chord, and that's an E chord right there, okay? Born to Run. Right? But for this, it kind of comes in on the A. And you have a lot of liberty to work with this song, right? In terms of, is liberty the right word? I guess so. I'm shot today. I still got a ton of things to do. But it just... Well, they closed down the auto plant in Mawa, and it's Mawa, folks. I know sometimes you pronounce it Mawa. It's Mawa. It's up in Bergen County, New Jersey, all the way up to the north. It borders New York State. I guess it's is it Westchester County up that way? I don't know what county that is. I don't think it's Westchester. No, I don't know. It's not Westchester County. It's Suffern. Well, Suffern, New York. I don't know what the county is. Anyway, it's Mawa. And it's right there. And there used to be a big auto plant there. I think it was the Ford plant. And if it's where I think it was right where 287 and 23 and 17 all meet. Could be wrong. Let me know. I always thought that's where it was years ago. Matter of fact, I think after the Ford plant, it was the Sharp Electronics location, which is where I thought the plant was before that. Anyway, I'm boring you. So A, E, D. Just find that rhythm. Well, they closed down the auto plant. My wallet that month. I went out looking for a job. Couldn't find none. Right, so those are really the only main changes. It's going to go from that A, which is you're going to be playing several bars, to a lot less bars when you make that change. Okay. Hit a town, hold on. Part of town when you hit a red light, you don't stop. Right, still just hang that chord. Run around, threatening the blow his top. When off to the cops, look up from behind. In front of the club to talk, they stop the girls from Johnny 99. Right. Oh, bummer note. Goes right back to the A, right? I would say 90% of your song right there, but listen for the changes. The only other real difference here is that we're going to go into that D shape. Okay? Right, so you're going to come in on that D shape first. listen to the pieces, listen to the parts. Those are your changes. That you come into this D chord like 2 or 3 times, I think maybe total, that stands out. But you're going to hear those changes. So, oh my goodness, the part of the song. Supply the public defender. So when you that tonal center here, there's only a couple more times you have to come in on that D first. And it's kind of more like a change, basically. But if you know where that D's come in, then you've got the rest of the song pegged. The only other thing, and it's very random. I hear it on the album. I've heard it on live versions, and it's all over the place. It's this A, again, the A shape. And the reason why we do the bar chord, you're walking those 2 notes. You're really walking 3 notes. Oh. Open 5th string, 3rd fret, 4th fret. The bar chord is it's combining with the open string. So if you listen to the record, listen to this. I mean, it's done sparingly because it'll kind of it's overdone if you keep doing it. So it's used sparingly in there, but that's kind of the riff I think I hear. And folks, that's, for the most part, that's the foundation for this song, okay? Again, remember, acoustic guitar. I don't even know if there's a harmonic on it. I can't remember off the top of my head now. There's got to be. I think every other song, but I could be wrong. But that's your guitar structure for this one. I hope it came in handy. Listen to the tune, and then use those chords, as I mentioned, in terms of where to drop them in, and you'll be fine with the song. All right, everyone. Peace. See you later. All right, hey, good to see you. This lesson, we are going to tackle Highway Patrolman by Bruce Springsteen off the Nebraska album. If you're not familiar with Nebraska, a lot of people aren't. I think one of his best albums. Very dark, stripped down, acoustic guitar, haunting, vibe, cover to cover, basically. So if you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. If you are familiar with it, then you should know, or at least heard about Highway Patrolman. It's kind of, for me, I had a problem actually trying to get it down as far as a lesson, because what I feel like in this particular song, and I'm not going to try to bore you, but I want to get to the details. In typical Springsteen fashion, especially going back to that era and even further, it was a lot of lyrics, a lot of words, a lot of things he was trying to say. And I feel like this song is no different. So it just kind of feels like he had a lot to say and just was dropping in guitar pieces here and there that sometimes weren't even in step and rhythm. So what I did was I took the same chords, the same key, and we'll just kind of break it down into more of a rhythm pattern so it sounds a little bit better, so to speak. Not better, but just easier to play. So let's take a look at it. 3 chords, D, G, and A, which is a chunk of the Nebraska album. So let's take a look at this one. Highway Patrolman, Bruce Springsteen. Let's get into it. So jumping right into this one, it is fairly straightforward. 3 chords, D, G, and an A. And I've kind of taken the liberty on this because I am working on an arrangement for a live gig, if it hasn't already happened. But, just kind of give you an idea where I'm coming from, where it's more friendly to strumming and even the vocals. As I mentioned, I feel like he kind of just threw the lyrics in there and the guitar was just dropped in, with certain notes, wherever it kind of just felt good at that time. And typically for this song, I even think it's finger pick, which I'm not a finger pick. So we're going to make this more of a strumming tune, and we can still kind of pick some of the notes to accent here and there. But it kind of comes in pretty quickly, I believe. My name is Joe Roberts. So my strumming would be this. On the D. To the G. And I think once you get the first couple lines of the lyrics and just find that place that works, it'll go for the whole song, basically, I think. So, my name's Joe Roberts. I work for the state. And that change you can kind of make wherever you feel is best. That's why I was saying the changes don't always feel like they're the same every time. So, Joe Roberts. really, it's just really going to be the D to the G, back to the D to the A. It's kind of the main theme as far as this particular song. So without the lyrics. Keep going. Back to the D. To the G. Back to the D. Hold it. To the A. To the D. That's really the structure for a lot of the lyrics. So once you kind of get that pattern or something similar that you want to do, it'll work. For the chorus, pretty straightforward. We're just rearranging the chords basically. Johnstown, I think it's a Johnstown floodline. And turns almost failing. Oh, he just ain't no good. So that's really kind of the chorus as well. So it's really like so it's 2 parts basically. Back to the G. To the D, to the G, we're going to go to the A, we started on D this time, it always kind of gets me, to the G, back to the D, D again, A, and that's really your song right there. So you just have to listen to it and then just drop those in. I want to say there's like 5 verses, something along those lines. You know, like I said, this is one of those songs where it's a lot of lyrics. I think of like, there's this bus stop at 82nd Street. So much going on, so quick. But, you know, this is actually longer, but more words kind of drawn out, more, you know, lyrics drawn out. So give it a listen, give it a try. I mean, it's really one of the simpler ones. If you can play a D, G, and an A, you've got it. It's just a matter of knowing where the breaks are. The other thing that kind of sits into this same category, the same chords, Used Cars from the album, that's even trickier because it's kind of like, you know, nothing seems like it's the same. But take a listen to it. If you like the video, thumbs up, like would be fantastic because it does show other people out there that might be some content that they like, and it just helps my channel out. So if you can do that, I would really appreciate it. In the meantime, we'll see you on the next one. See ya. What up, gang? We're going to continue doing some of the tunage from Nebraska, 1982 release from Bruce Springsteen. If you are not familiar with it, kind of ties in together with the release of Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is the biopic on Springsteen. I think I've kind of touched upon this here and there, this song, but I'll give it kind of a true lesson, which is it's only 2 chords. I mean, honestly, can you play an A power chord? And I guess we'll call it a D power chord. 4, 3, 2. You can do that. You got this song. Tempo's a little weird as far as the changes go between the chorus and the break and the verse and everything else that kind of goes around with it. Listen to this song. Get the vibe. I mean, I think the only way you can really understand how these chords are changing and moving, how the music is moving, listen to it, immerse yourself in it, put some headphones on. It's just one of those songs where you kind of can consume it. So, because I can tell you, hey, it's 8 bars of this, 4 bars of that, 1 bar of this. It's just not going to work that way. Because, you know, sometimes these chords just kind of jump. Right? So you got to listen to it to get that timing. But we're talking about 2 chords here, and we've got really a bass line that moves. It's between your open A string and the 3rd fret. Right? So keep that in mind. But we're going to go over this Really straightforward. Those 2 chords, it'll get you through the entire song. Dynamics. I leave this up to you. Listen to the song. You'll hear how it kind of, you know, starts off kind of, and it's going to pick up. So listen to that to kind of get a feel for it, and then make it your own. I mean, if you're going to do this, you know, solo acoustic somewhere, make it your own. That's why this song, I think, is great for that. But we will take a closer look at it. If you haven't done so, like, subscribe. Let me know what else you might want to hear. If at the time of this video going out, if all of Nebraska isn't out yet, it's coming. So be patient. And here we go. Let's jump into this one. All right. Number 1. Sorry for the chair squeaking. You hear that? Nothing I can do about it. And I apologize for the unfinished room, but it's really comfortable. It's cozy. It's got some potential, but I didn't want to wait until the very end to finish it up and then start doing these videos. So if you can live with the concrete floor and some extension cords at my feet, more power to you. But State Trooper, 2 chords. Okay? And an A and a D. And just listen to the tune. Listen to it to get the vibe, but it's really kind of like a chugging. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're kind of gently, you know, muting the strings. Not completely, and not completely open, but just. So what we're doing is we're gonna, you know, make this an a power chord. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And on the 2 and the 4, you're throwing in that bass note. So I won't palm you so you can actually hear it. And you're gonna switch it up to the D. But when you kind of blend all this together now, as far as the power chord, the bass note, and then gently also, you know, your attack on the strings in conjunction with palm muting, that's how I think, you know, what 80% of the song is really all about. So I go from the A power chord, and I guess you can really get away with just these 2 strings open here, you know, 5 and 4, and then throw in the bass on. But just because of, you know, habit, if it's a D power chord, 4, 3, 2. And every once in a while, I miss the string, the 5th string, 3rd fret, and I might catch the 3rd fret of the 4th string. It still works, kind of gives it a cool vibe. And again, make it your own. Obviously, that's not how the song goes, but it helps you kind of maybe come up with different strumming patterns just to kind of build upon that. But the song structure itself for this one, the A power chord, the D power chord, and that's the entire song for the most part, okay? The changes itself, just gotta listen to the song to hear those changes and take it from there. So this is definitely one of the easier ones on Nebraska. If you have an interest in learning a couple of songs from the album, let me know how you thought of this one. Again, pretty straightforward. A power chord, D power chord, and that bass line. Right? So keep that in mind. Enjoy it. Hopefully you liked it. And I will see you on the next video. Later. Apologies for the chair again, but it is what it is. Hey everyone, Richie here. We're going to continue with the Nebraska album. Got a couple more to go. In this video, we're going to take a look at used cars. 3 chords. It's a D, a G, and an A, which is what you're going to find with several songs on Nebraska. Keep in mind, if you're going to use these chords and play along to the album, it's going to sound off. I always thought it was probably because the guitar was out of tune, which might have something to do with it. But if you've done the reading up on it, now that the expanded edition is out, when he mixed it down from that 4-track cassette recording to a 2-track, I guess just kind of using, we used to call them boom boxes, right? The speed on that boom box was off, and it sped up the recording just a hair, I think, which is why a lot of the Nebraska kind of sounds out of tune, I think. But again, I might be looking too much into that, but if you play along to the album, it's going to sound slightly off. But if you use these chords, G, D, and A, it's going to get you to the point where you can play along and sing to it, and the average person isn't going to know anything different because it's just actually going to be in tune. So we'll go through this real quick. Pretty simple. I'm going to show you the changes, but keep in mind the tempo and the rhythm, not only for this song, but I think the album in general. It's hard to explain it, I guess. Really, I think this album's more poetry than anything else. You could talk about Jungle Land and Back Streets and Darkness on the Edge, all that stuff, right? Incident on 57th Street, all those great songs. This album, Nebraska, and these songs that we've gone over, is really just, the music is almost like an afterthought. It's based on just kind of how he's relaying these lyrics to you, and there just happens to be some music behind it to give it something other than just spoken word, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I've always looked at Nebraska in a way. And that's why a lot of people say Nebraska could be one of his best pieces of work because of the writing in it. But that's for you to decide. But we're going to go over this real quick. It's not that long. D chord, G, A, and I'll show you where these changes are for the most part, and you can play along to it, all right? Let's take a look at it. Again, 3 chords, right? You've got the D chord. You're not going to play the strings 6 and 5, but you're going to go open 4, 2, 3, 2. G chord, all 6 strings. 3, 2, open, open, 3, 3. A chord, not going to play the top string, the 6th string, but it's going to be open, 2, 2, 2, open. And then really the rhythm for the verse is going to be so that's the front end of the verse basically. And I'm just picking and just kind of going through the strings. No real pattern there. I'm just hearing it. Second part of the verse, very, very similar, but we're going to hold that A chord a little bit longer. So we put the verse all together. Second part. All right, there's your verses for the most part, okay? The chorus. So just G, D, A, and D. Listen to the rhythm. Listen to the pattern. Yeah, hold twice. That's, I think, almost the entire part of the song. The only and then there's, I think, 2 harmonica solos. The first one comes kind of midway, which is just, trying to whistle. Just G and D, I believe. Harmonica solo takes it out at the end, which is a little bit different. You're going to go through this pattern twice, and it's going to go G, D, A, D, and it's going to be in counts of 4 basically. 1 and 1. Oh, come on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 gonna repeat. Those are your parts for the song. It's just a matter of you putting it together. Listen. I mean, you can listen to the song. You should listen to the song, right? It's going to sound off. Make it your own. That's the one thing about these songs on Nebraska. You can kind of do it your own way, and it still will sound good because I think Bruce took a lot of liberties with just a lot of different things in terms of music and what we're so used to hearing and doing things differently. So there's your guide. Go with it. I think you'll be fine with it. Again, 3 chords: D, G, and A, and you're good to go. All right, guys. Later. See you later. What's up, folks? Richie here, 6 String Fun. Well, not really calling that anymore. Just Richie. How's that? Diving more, into the Nebraska album here with Open All Night. I don't think I've ever done this song before. Why I haven't, I don't know. We're gonna do it today. Trying to get a lot done as far as the Nebraska album, coinciding with the release of Deliver Me From Nowhere, which really, I think, from what I understand, the movie's not out yet. It will be. Really just kind of centers around Bruce in that time, 1982, the making of Nebraska, everything went along with it. Curious to see, how the movie plays out. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, read a lot of things over the years about that album, everything from the cassette tape not being in a plastic covering case, just kind of in his pocket the whole time. And what you hear is basically what he recorded on a Tascam 4-track recorder. I had one of those, I got rid of it, and now you can't find them for any cheaper than like $500, believe it or not. So, interesting. But we're gonna take a look at this one. Capo on the 2nd fret to really kind of puts it in the, I guess, I don't want to say the key of A, it's really not right, I don't think, but it's E. I guess it's E. No, it would be the key of whatever Capo's, I don't know, I give up. Anyway, Capo on 2, E-shaped power chord, A-shaped power chord, and a B-shaped power chord. That's the key. So I think there's 6 verses here. They're all very similar. We're going to just kind of go over the chord progression. It's really just like a blues pattern for the most part. There is a riff in the beginning. We'll take a quick look at it. Yeah, I'm done talking. Let's go. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, here we go. Open All Night. Quick moving tune. It's got a nice, steady beat to it. 3 chords, as I mentioned. E power chord, open 2. Well, again, in relation to the capo, being on the 2nd fret. Open 2, 2. For the E chord, the A power chord, not touching the 6th string. 5th string open, 2, 2. On the open 5, 2, 2 on the 4th and 3rd frets, 3rd strings. And then we got a B chord. Not playing the 6th string, 2, 4. Okay? And then it's a blues boogie. And there is an intro to this. We'll show you at the very end of this. Because... All right, we'll take a look at it at the end real quick, though, okay? I never really played that. We'll see if we can get through that. But for the verse itself, the song itself... I've said this on my other videos when it comes to the tunes on Nebraska. Listen to the songs. Get a feel for it. I can sit here and tell you 4 bars of this, 5 bars of that. Listen to it, okay? And what I'm doing is you can use your pinky, you can use your ring finger. I prefer to use my pinky for those blues notes, the shuffle. A little bit of a stretch on that one, right? But that's the entire song for the most part. Going into this B chord, though, you might hear him kind of slide it. All right? But for the most part, I think you have 6 verses in this song. There's a couple breaks in between. No real chorus that I can remember. But the verses are all basically the same. So once you get one verse down, you've got them all down. few subtle changes, whether it's like within the breaks, but again, you have to listen to it. Well, I got the carburetor, baby, clean the check. And then he changes the beat. And I'm jumping all over the place with the verses, right? Your mind gets easy to read late. I was gonna into my baby. I can't remember. He flies through this song. So, but the chords to play along, like I said, E5, A5, B5 with those shuffle notes. And you've got those slides into there. In some of these breaks, you'll hear like an E turnaround. I call it an E5 turnaround. Back to the end. You might hear that a couple times. It's the E power chord, and then on the 6th string, 3, 4. All right, but that's really as fast as this song goes, as long as the lyrics are in the verses, it's basically 3 chords. So keep that in mind. And I think going into that last verse, that B chord, he's hanging on for almost twice as long. Awful singing, no charge for that, right? So, but that's really the song for the most part. I mean, I know there's more to it as far as nuances, but that's really it. The only other thing which I told you I would go over is that intro. That one time you kind of hear it into the. So what I'm doing here is open 5th and 4th string, and I'm going to hammer onto that. So 5, 4 open. Hammer on with 2 fingers, these 2 middle fingers here, and then open the next set of strings. And then I'm going to slide from my high E string is going to be open, but I'm going to use the 2nd string, the B string, to slide from, again, in relation to the capo, 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5. Back to 3, and then 2, 3, open. It's not exact, but that's kind of how I've heard it. One more time. It's close. You know, I don't know exactly the amount of beats and hits, but listen to it, but that's kind of how I play. It's been a long time since I actually played that. All right, there you go. We're open all night, folks. See you on the next one. Later. What's up, everyone? Good to see you. Just a couple more from Nebraska coming up. If you haven't seen the other ones, there's some links you can follow. We're going to look at my father's house on this particular one. And again, 3 chords, D, G, and A. We're going to take a look for this, right? It's going to sound out of tune. So if you're wondering why, it's because, and I've mentioned this before, it was just a whole mix process from the cassette tape from 4 tracks to 2 tracks, and the speed was off, I think. But we're going to take a look at this. There's actually a cool little intro. through that. Real basic stuff. But we'll take a look at this. Again, this is all about making your own. This album was more about the lyrics, I think, and the storytelling than the music itself, obviously, because it's just an acoustic guitar. Most of these songs are just 3 chords, maybe even less, like State Trooper, I think it's only 2. So keep that in mind. But I'm going to show you how we do this, at least how I do it. And if you want to do this like solo acoustic, this should be more than enough to get you through that, okay? So let's take a look at this. Okay, as I mentioned, 3 chords, D, G, and A. Let's take a look at that riff. It's all basically done on the D string, the 4th string. So what I'm doing here is, again, however you want to do this, I'm using just slide. You could probably, right? You could either hammers or slides. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going from 2 to 4, back to 2 on the 4th string. So it's the main movement for all these 3 moving parts here is 2, 4, back 2, open. And you're going to slide back to 4, all on the 4th string. We're going to repeat that. 2nd fret on the open string. Okay? And I was going back and forth between slides and hammers. Totally up to you. I mean, I don't think it really matters, but if you listen closely, though, in between each of those, I feel like there's that D chord is being played. Whether or not he's kind of doing it in between, it's a real quick change, so you don't have to do it. But on that 3rd time, you can hear that D chord start. So I don't think he's doing it until the very end. So I'm thinking maybe on a separate track he was adding that D chord in between the riff. Anyway, that's the riff. And then it comes in on the D. That's, again, D to G, D to A. That's kind of the song for the most part. Just listen to it. So, and again, the timing isn't always the same because of the lyrics and how he's just kind of cramming the music around the lyrics just to kind of make it sound more than just spoken word. Again, you're not talking Born to Run, Backstreets type of stuff, Born in the USA stuff, which didn't come yet, obviously, but the whole, musically whole, full band. This is just something I think to go along with the lyrics. All right, we go through all that. Kind of the whole song right there. Just listen to it. Those are your chords. Nothing else really changes. There's a harmonica solo in there for a little bit, I think. I think there is. But it doesn't really change a whole... It's really all kind of based around those 3 chords. I know it seems like a lame lesson, but that's kind of just really how you're going to do it. I think if anything, that riff... So I might have been holding those chords for too long, but I want you to hear how the melody kind of is put together. But those are your song. That's your song, really. Go with it. It's just 3 chords, as is most of Nebraska, right? Hopefully it helps you out a little bit. I just wanted to make sure I kind of got a little bit of a lesson out there for you. But If you enjoyed it, great. If not, sorry about that. But that's kind of what we're doing for this one. So I've got one more left at the time of taping this one. I got to do Mansion on the Hill, and at that point, I'll have all of Nebraska out there. So these will be out as soon as I can. Hopefully, you're looking at it now, right? So enjoy it. We'll see you soon. Bye. Hello everyone, Richie here. We're going to keep going into the Nebraska vault here. We're going to take a look at Reason to Believe. I don't know how else to put this, but this song is a mess. As far as just, I think the tuning, I don't think it's, even if you get, it's not even like the strings are in tune with each other at times. And you'll find that this is kind of common within some of the songs on Nebraska. I don't know how to explain it other than maybe just whether it was purposely done that way, where the guitar wasn't in tune, or Bruce just picked up a guitar and whatever he had tuned, he kind of went with it. So this particular one, I've actually tuned my low E, and it's actually a half step and another 50% down from there, if that makes sense. So it's I'm looking at my tuner right now. It's E flat, but it's also closer to, I don't know what it would be, but it's just, if you're in standard tuning, tune it down to E flat, and then you're going to go down maybe another couple clicks from there, basically. And even when you go from there and you try to tune the rest of the strings to the low E string, I still don't think they're all in tune when you listen to the record. So that said, it's only 3 chords. And if we're just going to talk in terms of shape, because there's no way that sounds like anything you would like to hear, it's a G5, a C5, and a D. So that's where it is. It's really just kind of like almost like a show. And I'm going to walk you through the chords. I'm going to walk you through some of the basic changes, but I also feel like at times in this song, it's never the same number of bars with some of these changes. Just my opinion. I could be looking too deep into this. It flows, but it doesn't really flow when you start looking at it, say, mathematically in terms of the amount of bars and where everything should be. You're ready to make a change to a chord and it doesn't change it, or you don't want to change and it changes too soon. You'll find a lot of that on Nebraska. I think, honestly, in my opinion, with this album, it's almost as if he was just telling stories, almost like poetry, right? And he just happened to have a guitar to just have something in the background, which is maybe why when it was all said and done, he wanted Nebraska to be stripped down, just, vocals and acoustic guitar, because maybe it really didn't lend itself to, the electric Nebraska that we all heard about, which just recently came out. So even though Atlantic City sounds phenomenal, but with the full band, check it out if you haven't. So I'm going to walk you through these chords, some of the basic changes, the rhythm pattern. There's not much to this. Like I said, we're not even in tune. But it actually sounds better than being in tune. So, like I said, take your low E, tune it down a half step. If you're in standard, just E flat. And then you want to bring it back down to, I'm not going to try to show you, to about another, if you've got a tuner, bring it down to 9 o'clock. So you're almost halfway to the next note, basically. So let's take a look at this one. Again, we'll try our best here. Take a look at it. Reason to Believe. All right, so I'm going to just show you the chords, some of the strumming pattern here, and then leave it up to you to go back and listen for these particular changes, right? I can't sit here and say, okay, 4 here, 2 bars there, 5 bars here. If you know the song, you'll hear the changes. It's just a matter of what chord you're going to place into those changes, right? So it basically starts on this G. It's a G5. We're not using the A string for this particular chord. It's a G5. At least I think it's a G5. A C5, or I'm just going to kind of bring this down if you want to call it a C5, and then a D5. We're not even hitting those open strings, okay? So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can, almost like Billy Joel, right? Still rock and roll me. Now the other option you can do there is almost like a drone. And what I'm doing there is I'm hitting my bass note right there, that 6th string 3rd fret, right? And I guess I'm going to the, it's a 4th string, the D string, right? And the reason this whole guitar sounds out of tune is because when I had the D string tuned in proportion with the 6th string, it actually sounded off. So I took the D string and I actually detuned it a little bit more. So whatever you tune the guitar to, like I mentioned earlier on, take your D string and bring it down even more. I'm going to even bring it down a click right now. And as awful as that sounds normally, it fits better than a standard tuned guitar if you're playing along to Reason to Believe. So as strange as that might seem, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not always accurate with what I do, but that's what I'm hearing here. So, listen for those changes. I don't think it changes as much, but and I'm telling you, that one random note you keep hearing from me, I swear I hear that on the record. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm anticipating that note, but it's not really there. I hear it. So most of the song is going to be around that G and that C5. That D5 will come in really, it's almost like a turnaround. So for the verse, you're going G5 to G to the C, and again, the tempos are going to change. That's the other problem. Like if you're listening to the song, the tempo is up and down in a lot of these songs on Nebraska. Again, it was just, I think, just sheer words, poetry telling a story, and the guitar was an afterthought. Just my opinion. Just my 2 cents, though. Okay. That's the structure mainly, right? So for the verses, that's what it is. The chorus, it's going to kind of swap out the C and the order for the C and the G. So really, when you hear that sound Reason, you should be on that D. I can't even sing along to it because it just seems so off to me. That's really the crux of everything here. It's just a matter of listening to it for the changes. This is not one I would typically want to play live anywhere, unless the only other option you have is tune the guitar, standard E tuning, and then you play in the same shapes, but it's not going to sound the same as the record unless, if you want to be perfect. That might be the way to go. It's probably the way I should have done this, just to kind of give you an idea here. But that's, if you want to get it close to the sound of the record on, on Nebraska, it's just the way the guitar is tuned. It's awful. Reason to believe. Struck kind of funny asleep. And at the end of every hard-earned day, people find some reason to believe. Like I'm finding a reason to believe why anyone's gonna like this video, but that's just kind of, this is my mulligan, I guess, right? So use those chords, listen to the song, but those are the 3 chords you're gonna use. There's one other subtlety, I think. Again, could be wrong. I'm hearing the C, like we talked about the G, the C, and the D, right? At one point, I swear, I hear, if it's going from like a C open to like a D open. Almost like a Pearl Jam-esque type of chord, even though Pearl Jam came afterwards. But that open D. And And I hear it once or maybe twice, but maybe I'm just imagining that. But for this tune, this is how I would approach it. Those are your chords. And you could either, or, 6th string, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string, 5th string, 3rd string, 5th string, 3rd string, open 2, open 4, 2. All right. I hope this helped a little bit. And I think this is probably why I've never done this song before, because it was just so infuriating to try to get this close. I think I just gave up and said, here's what we got today. So hopefully it works. That's all I got on this one. Sorry. I've done better, I know, but I hope this helps you out a little bit. Later, folks.